Yes, hi. This vlog is going to be a number of things. Trying to do my whole statement of purpose thing, because it's been months. I had a vlog completely filmed almost a month ago, actually, and I just didn't get around to editing it. Then I got back to school, and the moment kind of passed. Classes have resumed. We just finished our third week, actually, and my writing has been weird. I am in a fiction writing class this semester, which is really great. It's an advanced class, so I'm surrounded by English majors, even though I'm not one. And we all, love our short stories and long projects and everything, and it's just really good vibes. But when I'm in classes like that, I like to start afresh, like start a whole new story, kind of apply the stuff that I learned from the professor and from other students and the things that I learned over the semester to the story. So I'm not like constantly morphing existing projects to fit the class, if that makes sense. And so I spent a lot of time just dreaming up a whole new story world. It's another fantasy adult project, but it's I'm not even sure if it's supposed to be like a full novel. I don't know what it's going to be. It has enough material to absolutely be a full novel, but like my motivation to make it a full novel is we it remains to be seen, basically. And so there are three main characters. I mean, three main points of view. It's about motherhood. It's about all these things. I could get into it, but I won't because I ran out of steam for that, and I think I'm just going to have it be an in-class thing because I can definitely see my motivation waning, especially when I have other projects that I'm more excited about that have gone to the back burner because I spent so much time, with this project. It was more like a firework, I would say. Like, it was, I ignited it, and then it was like, all big and like flashy and whatever, and then it burned out very quickly. I think that's how the project's trajectory has been going. So that's fun. But so that's one of the projects I'm working with. Just to update where I've been for the last couple months, even though that specific project has only been around for like a month, basically. Then I have my two main projects. What did I even rename that thing? Oh yeah, no, okay. I guess I could still just call this Project Snipped, but yeah, the working title is still Snipped. The potential title that I think it's Crimes of the Lowest Order. I still hate it. I've really soured over it, and I don't know what it's going to be called. But yeah, so when I started doing my NaNoWriMo project, and I had this new idea that's like really big, like a lot of research went into it. It's like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be my magnum opus, and I still love it. I'll get to it in a second. I kind of lost some love for Project Snip because when I started writing it, how old was I? The initial idea probably came about when I was like 16, 17. But the story has gone through so many transformations. I think I've mentioned this before that I don't even know if I can say it's like the same thing. It's like the character names even have changed. Like that's how much everyone has changed. Like the core essences of like certain characters are still the same, but it's a remarkably different world from when I was 16. Different stances, different stakes, all that kind of stuff. It's very different. It went through a few transformations, and I would take some stuff from the old transformation and put it into the new, and I kind of grew with the story. I matured a lot with this story, and I can see it so much in the string of work I've left behind. But I came to a crisis, I forget when, maybe like about a year ago. Well, it was really 2 years ago, but once I made my decision, I had like a huge crisis, and it was, should I make this YA or adult? Because I initially started writing it YA. That's how I wrote most stories, and I was fine with that, obviously. But once I kind of hit that point, there was a specific point in my life, junior year of college, where I was like, wait a second. I got back into reading like full force. And because like for the past 2-ish years, like I had not been reading as much as I used to. And there were reasons for that I understand now. But when I started to get back into my love of reading, I realized that the stuff that I had read before, where I would just like, make a beeline to the YA section in bookstores and libraries and stuff, that just wasn't working for me. Nothing against YA. I think I've said I wanted to make a video about it, but it just was not who I am, who I became, and it still isn't. So right now, I don't really read any YA anymore. I've fully transitioned to adult literature, and I found myself being a lot more fulfilled from that. But I still have this story that has come, along with me on this journey, and it's YA. So I made a decision to transform it into an adult novel. I aged up characters, I changed around situations, and I tried really hard to pull it away from like a coming of age narrative. And it's a bit hard because of the story itself, in that it deals with the main character trying to save her mother. And I feel like that is like inherently a coming of age story almost, but I don't know. I've made a lot of changes. Maybe I'll talk about them later, and I've done my best, and I'm still on draft 2, doing revisions and all of that stuff. And when I was reading through the draft with my red pen, I was really, really intent on making sure that, while the essence of the story, like some of the themes that I wanted were preserved, like it overall transitioned to an entirely adult story and narrative. And implementation is obviously, it's hard to transition a story, but I think it's going better than I thought. But once I started writing this new story, which is completely adult, there's no doubt that is an adult story. I'm looking back and I'm seeing like, this whole process, and I'm like, am I actually doing a good job? Is the transition actually working? Is this something that, because it's always been my dream to query agents and, be, lucky enough to, get it picked up. Is this feasible? Is it too much? Is it writing the two too much? Because it's not new adult either. New adult is it's a whole thing, but like, if you think of new adult and the themes and a lot of the stuff that happens in there, I would not consider it a new adult story for a few reasons. Mainly that the romance in the story, there is a romance, there are multiple romances, but I think even I'm actually kind of proud of myself for writing it in a way that has stuck with me for a while, and it's still the way I write romances now. That I'm not. It's never been like the main part of the story, or even like the main subplot. I guess perhaps it could be the main subplot, but it's never been the overwhelming. That's the only other thing there. And not to knock those kinds of stories, that's just never how I've written romance. And with this story, it's part of both characters' journeys, and I'm so happy that it's there, but it's not this all-consuming thing. I think there are so many story elements that I would love to talk about that are not even romantic in nature, that I just feel really strongly about. Like, I think I mentioned in a previous video that my favorite character in the story is not the main character, it's one of the side characters, and that I could write a whole book on him. While he has his own romantic like subplot and whatever, his relationship to so many different characters in the story is one of the things I would love to talk about. My main character's relationship with her family, with herself, with the society that she's in as a young adult who is trying to catch up with what she views she's missed. There's just so much going on there, and you can see I'm talking about it in this really great way. But a couple months ago, I was like, is it even worth it? Like, did I do it, in trying to move it to adult, did I lose some things? Did I make it too half and half? Is this a weak story? because of how much I've been chopping and changing. And so I just went full throttle on my new story, Menagerie of the Wicked, which is also a title, but I think it's an okay working title for now. I went all in on Project Menagerie, and there are no notes there. It's just I did not do any editing for Project Snipped, and I actually forgot. Like I take out each chapter of Project Snipped from the physical thing that I have, and I bring it around with me so I can edit like as I go about my days. I didn't bring that chapter with me home during winter break. So when I finally had this realization that, oh wait, no, I actually really do see potential in this story, there was no way for me to even edit the story because I left it in my dorm room. Well, not dorm room, but in my room here. So that was disappointing, but I'm back now. I have the chapter, and I still haven't done any editing for it because life, school, the writing class. Obviously, I've been focusing on another writing project. I just have not been doing writing much for any of my stories. That leads me to Menagerie of the Wicked. That's been going great, except I'm kind of in a little sticking point, which I know means that what I'm writing is not as strong as I thought it would be. Even though I'm following my outline, I need to kind of change something about it. That's something that I've kind of come to understand as I've matured as a writer. Because when I get to scenes where I know like what I've plotted and like my connection to the story is really strong, I have no trouble writing it. But here it's like the story has slowed down a little bit, but I'm working on it. I actually put some words down the other day for it, and I think I just need to end the chapter and move on so that when I'm done drafting I can come back to it and fix what needs to be fixed. But that's whatever. But I'm still excited about it. I haven't lost any love for this story. I'm still really excited about it and everything. I've been busy. I've been remarkably busy these last couple of weeks. What I want to do this weekend, which is my first free weekend in a while, I'm trying to do multiple things at once, which, great job me. But I have my hair, if you've noticed, is kind of whack, and that's because I'm trying to do it. I'm actually trying to braid it for the first time ever, which is probably a horrible idea, but there's no one else who can braid it for me, so I'm trying to do that today. Now I want to write Menagerie, edit Unraveled, and I think I want to edit Unraveled first, because even though I took a look at the next chapter finally, that one is kind of a sticking point again because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I am inserting the love interest into a chapter where he was not before, at least not in person before, and that's going to change a lot of things, so that's going to require some work. So yeah, today is just kind of a brute force day. I'm going to get past my reservations of doing so much work in draft 2, which is developmental edits. Have to get past that roadblock in Menagerie of writing a stale scene. I will also just shout out the booktubers who I've been watching for like kind of getting me to film this again, because I'm seeing so many different projects, so many different updates and everything, and I'm like, you know what, I started this because I wanted to kind of enter the book community and talk with everyone, share what I'm doing, hear what other people are doing, and I'm kind of slacking on my end of the thing. So yes, pretty much anyone I've shouted out in a previous video, they kind of got me back, so thanks to them. All right, I will see you hopefully in an update on the things that I've laid out here, but bye for now.